Hello learners, welcome to this session. In this session, we will be discussing about solid waste, what are its sources, what is its nature, and what effect does it have on us. So, let us begin the session. As you all know, solid waste is one of the gravest environmental concerns for today. As we are industrializing and modernizing, we see around us a lot of waste products being generated. You can see plastics, you can see metal objects, paper, cloth, hazardous substances. Lot of things are being seen outside which are scattered, which are mounted as piles of heaps of garbage around our cities. And not only in the urban areas, but in the rural area also, you will find a lot of waste generation problems nowadays. Another important concern about the waste is that it is not only an environmental problem, but a social one also, because it affects the health of the people who are living in the nearby areas. It also affects the people who are waste workers who deal in this sector, and most of the time they are without any protective equipments or any protective garments. So we have to look into it that solid waste is not only an environmental problem, and also learners, it is an economic problem also, because with the waste products that you are throwing away, that you are discarding, you are also bringing in economic loss, because when you are not using a certain substance, there was a time when lot of materials, lot of energy and resources were put into the manufacture of these substances. But then what happened, when it is no longer in usable form, we are throwing it away. So that adds to the amount of waste, and also it is an economic problem. You can say it is an economic loss. So we can say that waste management, solid waste management is coming as an upcoming area. It is essential for inclusive and sustainable societies. It is one of the important things that we must consider and focus our attention as we deal with the other environmental problems. What is solid waste? Learners, you must be curious to know what is solid waste and how do you define it? What does it contain? So it is as simple as that, and whatever the things which are unwanted, useless materials which are being generated from human activities. And it may be coming from the residential sources, industrial, commercial areas, all the types of industries like hospitality industry, hotel industry, hospitals. Everywhere you look around, you will find that most of the sectors are generating waste products. So solid waste is what? It is the substance which is discarded, which is thrown away, which is of no use, which cannot be seen in the usable form, which was once a requirement. So there are two conditions with the solid waste. One comprises of those substances which are throwing away. At once we were using the disposable cup, but now it is no longer used, so it is being thrown away. Another essential feature of the solid waste, it is coming as a byproduct when we are manufacturing something. So especially in the manufacturing industries, you find that whenever any furniture is being made or whenever any other kind of article is being made, there are waste products which are generated. Same is the case with the construction work which goes on. Whenever a dam is constructed or whenever any road is built, you can see that when such type of production or manufacturing or construction work goes on, the waste is generated as a byproduct. So what does it include? It includes solid or semi-solid domestic waste, which can be seen at your houses. It can be there in the commercial or the institutional waste coming out of the public offices, marketplaces, and all the institutions that you see all around. Catering and market waste, when it may be a packaging waste, it may be a food waste, street sweeping, silt or the dirt which comes out of it, horticulture waste, agriculture, dairy waste, and biomedical waste. So these are the main categories of the waste if you look around. And when you see that what all comes in it, you will find that plastic forms a category in almost all the types of the waste. It is generated in the institutions also, it is generated in your household also, it is there in the markets also, it is there in the dairy sector also, in the biomedical sector also. So there are certain kinds of waste which are present in almost all the categories. So this is a a general category, you can say types of the waste being on the basis of the nature of the waste which is being generated. So they all have different characteristics. And one thing, learners, you must remember that with the changing times, not only the amount of the waste is increasing, but also you will find that the nature of the waste has also changed a lot. That means that it comprises of more toxic, more non-biodegradable substances which take a lot of time for decomposition and persist in the environment for several years. From where are they coming? Now, when I look at the solid waste problem, I'm very curious to know that where are the main sources, where are the main culprits from where the waste is being coming out. So look at the residential areas where we live. There may be single or multi-family dwellings in the apartments, in the societies, wherever you live, you will find that waste products are coming out. In your homes, you will find the fruits and the vegetable peelings, the leftover food, shampoo sachets, glass bottles, wooden articles, broken cutleries or toys, newspapers. All these types of waste you can very well see, and you can very well relate to what kind of waste is being generated from your houses. Then there is an industrial waste which comprises more of the metallic substances, and the sources are construction sites, as I mentioned, manufacturing industries, power, chemical plants. So the main industries which you look around, and especially in the industrial areas, if you happen to visit any industrial site, you will notice the different kinds of the waste being generated over there. Then commercial sources include the hotels, offices, restaurants, stores. Packaging waste forms the major category in this. Institutional sources include the schools, courts, government centers, all the institutions, the banks and all government offices, all the types of the company offices. These are the institutional waste, and here you will find a lot of electronic waste being generated, paper waste coming out. Then biomedical sources include the health, hospitals, the dispensaries, the labs where the diagnosis is being done. So healthcare sector is coming out as a major sector of the waste generation, and particularly in times of COVID, we have seen that how much exponential rise in the biomedical waste is being seen. Then agriculture is also one of the main category, because we Indians, India is an agricultural country, and the biodegradable waste in the form of the different harvest, the grains which are not used, the spoiled food, the stubbles. Also, the agriculture sector will include the dairy also, the poultry sector also. So, this classification of the solid waste is on the basis of the sources from where the waste is being generated. When you carefully look at these sources of the waste, you will find that each category has a specific kind of waste. And when you will be discussing about the solid waste management, we have to devise appropriate solutions. We can call it sector-specific solutions for the treatment of the solid waste. Now, the types of the solid waste. Broadly speaking, according to the Solid Waste Management Rules 2016, there are three categories of the waste. They are the recyclable waste, which is the dry waste, which consists of the items, the discarded substances, which can be recycled. So, the paper will come in this category, glass will come in this category, certain types of plastics also come into this category. Then there are wet waste, which comprises of the waste which is biodegradable in nature. That means which is being generated from the agriculture sector mainly. It is also being generated in the commercial sectors, for example, the hotels, restaurants. Also at your homes, you will find the wet waste. It consists of the fruits and the vegetables peelings, the leftover food, etc. And most of this waste is biodegradable in nature, and it can be put into production of manure or certain things. And in our country, most of the waste which is being generated is organic in nature, which is the wet waste, and which is a good thing because it can be managed properly if at all it is segregated. And the third category which is emerging nowadays is the domestic hazardous waste, which is rich in chemicals, toxic substances, and which means that these hazardous substances are being in use for large amounts. They are being discarded, and also they are risky to our health. So if we come in contact and if they are there in our environment, whether in the soil or in the water, or if they are burnt, they pose threat to the health of the ecosystems, to the health of the human beings. So this is another way of classifying. There is a garbage, there are ashes, residues, combustible waste, non-combustible waste, bulky, street waste, farm waste and hazardous waste. So these are the different ways by which you look at the waste all around. So you must learn about these things, that and you must inspect your surroundings and see and yourself observe that how different kinds of waste are being generated and how do they differ in terms of their physical and the chemical properties. And our focus, our attention for future is the specific solid waste. Learners, you must be knowing about the plastic waste, sanitary waste, construction and demolition waste and electronic waste, which we call it as e-waste. So these are the different types of waste which are very specific, which are increasing in numbers. If you look at the plastic waste from 2015 to 2016, the production of plastic waste has been doubled. So this is a cause of concern. The microplastics which are being made out of this plastic waste also is a threat. Similarly, sanitary waste, which is also chemical waste, construction and demolition waste, is the second major industry after agriculture. So waste coming out from this sector, which includes the pebbles, the stones, the different kinds of woods also, you can say, will come into this category. This is also one of the main sector, and it is not being addressed so far. Electronic waste, so as we are digitalizing, we can see ourselves surrounded by a lot of electronic items, gadgets at our homes, at our offices. So that also constitutes a major sector of the waste. India is the fourth largest generator of electronic waste in the world, and this is posing a threat to our ecosystems because we are not able to handle it properly. And if you look at these statistics, India generates around 1,50,000 million tons of waste every day, which is rising with every year. Annual waste generation, if you see, it is likely to increase 165 million tons by 2031. And if the current rate of waste generation goes on, we will be requiring large hectares of land for the disposal of these waste. As we are following the practice of landfilling as of now, we need space, which is already a constraint. So we have to be very careful, we have to be thoughtful about the waste products which we are throwing away. The question which comes to our mind is that why do we generate so much of waste? From where it is coming? Why is it happening that so much of the waste is being generated? So number one reason is increase in production, urban growth and urbanization. Population increase is one of the main factors because with the increasing population, the demands increase. The demand for more food, the demand for more production, the demand for more space. So it is directly proportional. Another important thing which is there is your affluence. You know, how we are spending, what kind of products are we purchasing. So this is also one of the main reason, because increase in the purchasing power of the people has led to production of goods and ultimately generation of the waste. So there is increase in volume of the discarded products. The diverse types of products are being discarded. If you look into the waste heap, you will find there's a huge diversity in the waste products which have been thrown away. Cheaper consumer products, demand for convenient goods, that is also there because the objects are available at a very cheap rates. They are available, they are very handy, we can get them purchase new instead of repairing. So it is always preferred by the customers to buy new products. And another thing is that most of the products today are made keeping in mind that they have a very short life. So they do not last longer, whether it is batteries, whether it is an electronic item, whether it is any other item, it is made to get discarded very soon, so that there is more purchase of that product. So it also is one of the main reason. Packaging, the online business, online shopping, it has generated huge amount of packaging waste, and the products are not durable. consumerism, economic growth, as I mentioned. So these are some of the factors which are responsible for the more waste generation. So not only the volume but also the nature of the waste has changed. Why we are not able to manage it, this is also something which we must think about, because we have no idea how much we are generating. Data is a big problem in the solid waste issues, because we do not know how much of the waste is being thrown away in waters, how much of it is burnt. Especially in winters, you find that the poor people burn these waste products consisting of the paper, plastic and whatever they are getting. So we have no idea how much of it is burnt, how much of it is landing up in landfills, how much of it is being properly recycled. So in the absence of the proper data, it is very difficult to arrive at a roadmap of managing the waste. So what is clear as of now is that the per capita waste generation is increasing, and also there is a stark difference between the waste generation in the developed countries as well as the developing countries. Similarly, in any country, the difference can be easily noticed in the amount and the nature of the waste generated in the rural areas or the urban areas. So why waste management is an issue today? Because it affects us, because it enters into our bodies in some way or the other. It poses a threat to the other organisms which are living on the planet. It is a problem to the aquatic ecosystems. It also leads to climate change. It also leads to groundwater pollution. It depletes the soil of the important minerals. Therefore, waste management is an issue today. Learners, you must know that also the space problem, the land, nobody wants to live near a landfill site. So people are saying that not in my backyard. Nobody wants to live near the place where the waste is being collected, or you can say nobody wants that in their surroundings the waste should be dumped, which was earlier not the case. So I think the not in my backyard should be celebrated, because now people are aware, and so there is a problem. So we don't know how to deal with these problems, because now you cannot dump it anywhere. People start agitating. People know that it is injurious to their health. And also we do not have mechanisms. As I said, we do not know how much of it is collected. We have outdated technologies, inefficient mechanisms, institutional level also. There is a problem, awareness is not there. So waste management has become a grave issue today, and we really need to research on it. We really need to know that how we can address this problem, which is going to be cumbersome in the years to come. So where it is going in the dumps, it is going in the landfills, it is incinerated. Most of the waste, you must have seen that the outskirts of the city are filled with the waste of all kinds. There is a huge mountains of waste which you can see. So earlier it used to be landslides, but now there are trash slides. The trash is mounting to such an extent that at several places you can find that the whole trash is coming down just as the landfills occur. So trash slides are occurring at many places. Fires get erupt at these sites. It is very common in the landfills, old landfill sites. You can see various instances of the fire catching, and also it is leading to air pollution. So these are the unless and until we manage it properly, unless and until we segregate it properly, we will be dumping the waste here and there, and that will not be the solution to the problem. It has an effect on the landscape. As I said, solid waste poses a threat to the terrestrial ecosystem, biodiversity, soil microorganisms. It is not an aesthetically not desirable place, because leachate is being generated which pollutes the groundwater also. When it is dumped on water, it poses threat to the aquatic life. As you all know, oceans are filled with plastics today, and it is predicted that by 2050 there will be more plastic than fishes in the oceans. So this situation is very bad. The microplastics are there in the air, in the water, also in the soil. So everywhere we find ourselves surrounded by the plastics, and it is not about the plastics but the other waste as well, which are toxic, which are hazardous, whether they are in the form of heavy metals. They persist in the environment for long. So there is no escape. If it is being generated and if it is not being treated, it will be there and it will enter into our bodies. Several people are getting issues related to health because of waste. It may be acute effects in the form of some irritations or some health problems related to respiration, but particularly those who work in this sector, they are vulnerable. They contract diseases which are very critical in the form of cancers. You can see it is being occurring. So it has an effect on our health also. Our the functioning of the different body parts get affected, because when we unknowingly it enters into our body through our food or through our waters or through the air which we are breathing. So I can conclude that the amount of solid waste in India is rapidly increasing because of course, the population increase and the lifestyle changes. Landfills must be the last option, because we have to see that how waste can be managed. The priority should be to recycle it, to reuse it instead of just throwing away. Only landfill sites should contain the waste which cannot be treated by any other measure. Segregation of the source is very important. We will discuss about this in our another sessions, where we will be discussing about the management of the solid waste. And the waste can be managed only when there is an active participation from the people, and implementing several policies, activities and initiatives. It will help us to control this problem and properly handle the solid waste. So learners, in today's session, we have learnt broadly about the solid waste, its types, its sources and its effects on us and the environment. Thank you so much.